In a world more connected than ever before, an invisible epidemic is silently ravaging our society. Picture this: over 280 million adults worldwide are classified as clinically depressed.
So sometimes you see people who are depressed, they have no job, they have no friends, they have no intimate relationship.
But here's the kicker. Depression rates have been steadily climbing for decades, with a sharp spike in recent years.
It's like a glitch in a computer program. It's just a wiring problem in your head.
It's a massive problem.
We're living in what can only be described as an era of depression, a time where our minds are under constant siege from forces we've invited into our lives: social media, 24/7 news cycles, and a culture that glorifies the pursuit of happiness at all costs. Even world-renowned celebrities such as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Michelle Obama, and Justin Bieber have openly talked about their struggles with depression.
It's hard sometimes to look in the mirror and really have to realize maybe you're not the person that you necessarily thought that you were.
It's not. I was actually living a nightmare. I fell into depression at that time.
But what if I told you that everything that we think about depression might be wrong? What if the very things we've been doing to combat this mental health crisis are actually making it worse? In this video, we're going to uncover the untold truth about depression. We'll explore why our modern world seems tailor-made to facilitate feelings of despair, and why the go-to solutions might be doing more harm than good. But more importantly, we'll discover an ancient philosophy that could be the key to building an unbreakable mind, one that can weather any storm that life throws at it. This is a documentary by me, Alex Unbreakable, and we're about to embark on a journey that might just change the way you think about mental health forever. To truly understand the magnitude of our current mental health crisis, we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Depression isn't a new phenomenon. It's been a part of the human experience for decades, but what's more alarming is how its prevalence has skyrocketed in recent times. Let's rewind the clock. In the 1970s, the average age for onset of depression was around 30. Fast forward to today, and that number has plummeted to 14. That's less than half. Think about that for a moment. We're seeing depression strike earlier than ever before, affecting people in their most formative years. But it's not just about age. The sheer number of people affected has exploded. In 1980, roughly 3% of Americans experienced an episode of major depression in a given year. By 2021, that number had nearly tripled to 8.3%. And remember, these are just the reported cases. The real numbers, they're likely much higher. Now you might be thinking, well, maybe we're just getting better at diagnosing depression. And you'd partly be right. Our understanding of mental health has certainly improved, but that doesn't account for the whole picture. Something fundamental has shifted in our society, something that's making us more vulnerable to this black mist of depression.
I remember lying in bed one morning and I was overwhelmed because I was trying to remember what feeling happy felt like.
As we continue our journey, we'll uncover the hidden forces driving this epidemic, forces that are so deeply woven into the fabric of our modern lives that we often fail to see them. But first, we need to ask ourselves, in a world of unprecedented comfort and convenience, why are we more depressed than ever before? The answer, as we're about to discover, lies in the very things that we've created to make our lives better. Stay with me, because this is where things get interesting. By 2030, the World Health Organization predicts that depression will be the leading cause of the disease burden globally.
There is an actual increase in the number of people who have depression and anxiety and also other mental disorders. In fact, there has been an 18% increase over the last 10 years.
Now let that sink in for a moment. Not cancer, not heart disease, but depression. We're looking at a future where the biggest threat to our well-being isn't a physical ailment, but a state of mind. In the United States alone, it's estimated that 21 million adults had at least one major depressive episode in 2020. That's nearly 1 in 10 people walking around with the weight of depression on their shoulders. But statistics can feel cold and impersonal. They don't capture the raw human experience of depression, so let's put a face to these numbers. Meet Kevin, a 28-year-old marketing executive. From the outside, he has it all: a successful career, a wide circle of friends, and an Instagram feed that would make anyone envious. But behind closed doors, Kevin struggles to get out of bed most mornings, feeling an overwhelming sense of emptiness and despair. Or consider Jane, a 45-year-old mother of two. She's the life of every party, always ready with a joke or a helping hand, but when she's alone, intrusive thoughts of worthlessness plague her, making her question her very existence. These are just two fictional examples that represent a sea of millions of people suffering daily. People who wake up each and every day, put on a brave face, and battle an invisible enemy. An enemy that's growing stronger by the day. As we dive deeper into the untold truth about depression, remember Kevin and Jane. Remember that behind every statistic is a human story, a life hanging in the balance, because understanding the true scale of this epidemic is the first step towards building an unbreakable mind.
Sometimes they really make me laugh.
How many subscribers do you have?
Okay, good morning.
Subscribe now. If you don't have social media, you're gonna be a loser, honey.
You were born to be popular. Don't listen to anyone. Pursue your dreams.
In the great tapestry of human history, social media is but a single thread. Yet in the span of just 2 decades, it has woven itself so tightly into the fabric of our lives that it's hard to imagine a world without it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, these aren't just apps on our phones, they're portals to a digital universe that's always on, always demanding our attention. But here's the twist. These platforms aren't just connecting us, they're fundamentally changing us, reconfiguring our brains in ways that we're only beginning to understand. And the architects behind these digital empires, they know exactly what they're doing. That rush you feel when your post gets a like, the irresistible urge to check your phone every few minutes, it's all by design. Social media platforms are engineered to be addictive, tapping into the same neural pathways as gambling and recreational drugs.
Desired use case of these tools is that you fragment your attention as much as possible throughout your waking hours. That's how these tools are designed to use. Well, we have a growing amount of research which tells us that if you spend large portions of your day in a state of fragmented attention.
So it's this giant statistical thing, and it's bad for you because it leeches your free will, it makes you cranky, it makes the world a little darker because you're not perceiving reality.
Let that sink in for a moment. The tools we use to stay connected are using us. They're exploiting our psychological vulnerabilities to keep us scrolling, tapping, and sharing. But the real danger lies not in the time we waste, but in how these platforms shape our perception of reality.
Research shows 95% of teens are on social media. More than a third say they're on constantly. And teens spend an average of 3.5 hours each day on these kinds of apps, something research shows can double the risk of experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety.
With every scroll, we're bombarded with carefully curated snapshots of other people's lives. Vacation photos, job promotions, relationship milestones, a never-ending highlight reel that makes our own lives seem dull in comparison. It's a digital funhouse mirror, distorting our view of the world and ourselves. And the toll on our mental health is staggering. As we navigate this new world of likes, shares, and followers, we need to ask ourselves, are we controlling social media, or is it controlling us? And more importantly, how can we break free from its grip and build a mindset that's truly undefeatable? The answer, as we'll soon discover, lies not in rejecting technology, but in mastering it. Stay with me, because we're about to uncover the hidden psychology behind the apps we can't seem to live without. In the digital age, comparison isn't just the thief of joy, it's the silent assassin of self-esteem. Every time we open our social media apps, we're stepping onto an emotional battlefield, a place where our deepest insecurities are exposed to an endless parade of seemingly perfect lives.
The more of their videos I saw, the less confident I became. I dreamed of being one of them.
Scroll, compare, feel inadequate. Scroll, compare, feel inadequate again. It's like a vicious cycle that plays out millions of times every day, across screens big and small. But here's the kicker. We're not comparing our reality to other people's realities. We're comparing our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you saw someone post about their failures, their moments of self-doubt, or their struggles with mental health? Sure, it happens, but it's rare.
When you focus on what someone else has that you don't have, what you're doing is you're focusing on lack. You're focusing on what you don't have. What happens when you focus on lack? More lack tends to show up in your life.
Instead, we're fed a carefully curated stream of success stories, picture-perfect vacations, and blessed moments.
For people on social media, they're just putting out a tiny fraction of what their life appears to be. It's not even what their life really is.
With every scroll, every like, and every comment, we're subconsciously asking ourselves, am I good enough? Am I successful enough? Am I happy enough? And more often than not, the answer our brain supplies is a resounding no. But here's the truth that social media doesn't show you. Behind every polished post is a real person, with real struggles and real insecurities. That influencer with the perfect body, they might be battling an eating disorder. That friend with the dream job, they might be drowning in imposter syndrome. That constant comparison isn't just making us feel bad, it's fundamentally altering our perception of what's normal, what's achievable, and what's worthy of our celebration in our own lives. And as we'll see, this warped perspective is a breeding ground for depression. But don't lose hope, because once you understand the game, you can choose whether to play or not, and on what terms. And that's where the path to an unshakable mind truly begins. As we've gone on this journey together so far, we've stumbled into a paradox. On one hand, we live in an age of unprecedented comfort and convenience, yet depression rates are soaring, and we still need to get to the bottom of why and how.
Just be happy.
Just be happy.
Just be happy.
Just be happy.
They say it like it's the easiest thing in the world to do, as if happiness were a switch we could simply flip on. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Our obsession with happiness might be the very thing that's making us miserable. Think about it. We're bombarded with messages telling us we should be happy all of the time. Self-help books promise the secret to eternal bliss.
I'd always read self-help, and friends would tease me because they would say that I was a really bad advert for books with names like How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, which I'd read 3 times and continued to worry more than anybody.
I've read a lot of self-help books, and I've listened to a lot of self-help books on tape too, and there's some of them that I have to shut off. I have to shut off a quarter way, and I feel like someone's lying to me. I just like, you're bullshitting me, you're just saying things. This doesn't resonate with me. It's not working.
Social media feeds us a constant stream of blessed moments. Even our workplaces have HR teams dedicated to well-being and fulfillment. But what happens when we're just not happy? When we feel sad or angry, or just middle of the road? Suddenly, we're not just experiencing a normal human emotion, we feel like we're failing at life itself. This relentless pressure to be happy creates a toxic cycle. We feel bad, then we feel bad about feeling bad. It's like emotional quicksand. The harder we struggle for happiness, the deeper we sink into despair. A day passes without us feeling fulfilled, then another day passes and the joy we're supposed to feel slips even further away. But here's the kicker. Happiness was never meant to be a constant state. It's a fleeting emotion like any other. By placing it on a pedestal, we've turned it into an unattainable ideal. The ancient Stoics understood this. They knew that true contentment doesn't come from chasing happiness, but from finding meaning in all of life's experiences, the good and the bad. What if instead of trying to be happy all of the time, we aim for something deeper. What if we embrace the full spectrum of human emotion, finding value in our sorrows as well as our joys?
Of openness and welcoming these experiences because they are part of us. They are part of being alive.
What I recommend is that it's not that emotions are bad, but we actually have to feel them. And this might sound funny, but most people don't feel emotion. They actually express them or either shut them down. But those that are expressing them still often aren't feeling them.
As we'll discover, the path to an unbreakable mind isn't paved with forced smiles and positive affirmations. It's forged in the crucible of life's challenges, tempered by wisdom that's thousands of years old, yet more relevant today than ever before. The pursuit of happiness may be making us miserable, but the pursuit of meaning? That's where true strength lies, and that's what we're about to explore. In a world obsessed with comfort and instant gratification, we're facing a crisis. Not a crisis of resources or technology, but a crisis of the human spirit. We're losing our ability to face adversity head on. We're becoming soft, fragile, unable to weather the storms of life. Think about it. When was the last time you truly challenged yourself? When did you last step out of your comfort zone, not for a social media post, but for your own growth?
You can learn. You can gain this knowledge, and you can create the experience and circumstances where you will overcome fear.
Part of the mastery of life is learning to see change as a game, learning to see challenges as something that we can joyously enter, to become the joyous master.
Our modern comforts, the very things that we've created to make life easier, are becoming the bars of our mental prison. We avoid discomfort at all costs. We bubble wrap our experiences and sanitize our interactions. We numb our emotions with endless distractions. But here's the brutal truth. Life doesn't care about our comfort. Adversity doesn't ask for permission before it strikes. And when it does, many of us simply crumble. We see it everywhere. College students having breakdowns over critical feedback, adults unable to handle minor setbacks without spiraling into anxiety, a generation raised on participation trophies, ill-equipped to face a world that doesn't always reward mere participation. The clock ticks, another day spent in our comfort zone. The clock ticks again, another opportunity for growth simply lost. But here's the thing, this mental weakness isn't just about individual struggles, it's a societal issue. A fragile population is easier to manipulate, easier to control. When we can't handle discomfort, we'll do anything to avoid it, even if it means giving up our freedom, our values, and our very selves.
Media, and more specifically, our digital filters, have limited our worldview, feeding us things that we like to see, that we already know.
They're saying here, organised social media misinformation campaigns now present in 70 countries around the world. Comparing that to 2017, they're saying that is more than double. The number then was 28.
Yet in this crisis lies an opportunity to reclaim our mental fortitude, to build psychological calluses that can withstand any challenge life throws our way. The Stoics knew this. They didn't run from adversity, they embraced it. They saw every challenge as a chance to grow stronger and to become more resilient. They understood that true strength isn't born in comfort, but forged in the fires of adversity. As we continue our journey, we'll uncover the Stoic techniques for building unshakable resilience. We'll learn how to not just survive life challenges, but to thrive because of them. Because in a world that's becoming increasingly fragile, your ability to stand strong in the face of adversity isn't just an advantage, it's a superpower and a necessity. In the grand tapestry of human existence, there's a thread that connects us all, the power of our minds. For centuries, we've pondered the relationship between our thoughts and our reality, but it's only in recent decades that science has begun to unravel this mystery. Enter neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself. This isn't science fiction, This is the cutting edge of neuroscience, and it's revolutionizing our understanding of the human mind.
Your brain is highly active. It's allowed us to make these and many other important discoveries. And perhaps the most exciting, the most interesting and transformative of these discoveries is that every time you learn a new fact or skill, you change your brain.
Neuroplasticity is about the brain's ability to adapt and rewire itself so you can survive and thrive in your world.
Imagine your brain as a vast network of neural pathways. Every thought, every experience, and every emotion creates and strengthens these pathways. The more you think a certain way, the stronger that neural connection becomes. It's like carving a path through a dense forest. The more you walk it, the clearer and easier to follow it becomes. But here's the kicker. You're the trailblazer. You decide which paths to carve, which thoughts to nurture, and which beliefs to reinforce. Your mind isn't set in stone. It's more like clay, constantly being molded by your experiences, and more importantly, your interpretation of those experiences. This is where the real magic happens, because if our thoughts shape our neural pathways, and our neural pathways shape our reality, then by changing our thoughts, we can literally change our world. Depressing thought patterns, they're not a life sentence. Crippling anxiety, it's not hardwired into your brain. These are simply well-worn neural pathways, and with conscious effort, we can create new ones. Think about that for a moment. The power to reshape your mind and to rewire your brain is within your grasp. That doesn't mean it's easy though. Breaking old thought patterns and creating new ones takes time and effort, but it is possible. And the transformation could be truly life-changing.
Yes, we all have unconscious thoughts, every single person of us. If you don't have a mental disorder, and then guess what? You have extreme power in your life to overtake it. And even those who have mental disorders, psychologists and therapists work with them to recondition their mind.
This is where ancient Stoic wisdom and modern neuroscience converge. The Stoics understood intuitively what we know scientifically, that our perceptions shape our reality. They developed techniques to harness this power to build minds that were truly unbreakable. As we delve deeper into Stoic philosophy, keep this concept of neuroplasticity in mind, because we're not just talking about adopting a new philosophy, we're talking about reconfiguring your brain, about creating new neural pathways that lead not to depression and anxiety, but to resilience and inner peace. The power of an unbreakable mind isn't about being invulnerable to life's challenges, it's about having the mental flexibility to adapt, to grow, and to find opportunity in adversity. And thanks to neuroplasticity, this power is available to all of us. The question is, are you ready to harness it? In a world obsessed with external solutions, we often overlook the most powerful tool at our disposal, the ability to reframe our experiences. This isn't about positive thinking or sugarcoating reality. It's about seeing the world through a different lens, one that empowers us rather than diminishing us.
Sometimes the environment itself doesn't have to change. What changes our perception of the environment.
Things are going to get tough for a lot of people, but this is your time to exponentially grow. This is your time to step in the next level leader that you have living inside of you. This is your time to crush that self-doubt even more, crush it harder, stronger than you ever did before.
Consider this. Two people face the same setback. One sees it as a crushing defeat, spiraling into depression. The other views it as a valuable lesson, an opportunity for growth. It's the same event, but with radically different outcomes. The only difference, it's all in the mental framing.
Keeping a positive attitude or mindset is absolutely critical.
Reframing is like adjusting the focus on a camera. Suddenly, details that were blurry come into sharp focus. Aspects of a situation we never noticed before become glaringly obvious. It's not about changing the picture itself, but changing how we see it.
What would be the opposite of this negative thing? Then you think about the positive thing and you focus on that and you repeat it to yourself.
But let's be clear, This isn't about denying negative emotions or plastering a fake smile on your face. It's about finding meaning in our experiences, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones. The Stoics were masters of this art. When faced with adversity, they didn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, they asked, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger?" Imagine facing your fears not as terrifying ordeals, but as opportunities to prove your courage. Picture viewing your failures not as evidence of your inadequacy, but as necessary steps on the path towards mastery. Envision treating every criticism not as a personal attack, but as free advice for improvement. This is the power of reframing. It turns victims into victors and obstacles into opportunities. It's not about ignoring reality, but about choosing which aspects of reality we focus on. And here's the beauty in all of this. The more we practice reframing, the more automated it becomes.
We should choose very wisely what those behaviors are so that we're shaping that brain to be the brain that we want to have at the end of the day.
Remember neuroplasticity? Every time we consciously reframe a negative experience, we're carving a new neural pathway. We're literally reconfiguring our brains to become more resilient, more adaptable, and truly unbreakable. As we dive deeper into Stoic philosophy, we'll uncover powerful techniques for mastering the art of reframing. We'll learn how to turn the tables on depression, anxiety, and self-doubt. Because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. In the vast ocean of human thought, there's an island of wisdom that has withstood the test of time. An intellectual oasis that has guided emperors and slaves alike. I'm talking about Stoicism, a philosophy born in ancient Greece that's more relevant today than it's ever been before. Picture this. It's 300 BC in Athens. The world is chaotic and unpredictable. Sound familiar? It's in this crucible of uncertainty that Stoicism emerges, offering a beacon of inner peace amidst external turmoil. Founded by Zeno of Citium, Stoicism quickly spreads throughout the ancient world. It finds followers in all walks of life, from the slave Epictetus to the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Why? Because it offers something universal, a practical guide to living a life of virtue, resilience, and inner peace. But don't be fooled by its age. Stoicism isn't some ancient relic of the past. It's a living, breathing philosophy that speaks directly to our modern condition. In an age of anxiety, depression, and digital distraction, the Stoics offer a path of mental clarity and emotional resilience.
Or think in terms of relationships. Everybody wants to be loved, but that's not up to us. It's up to the person who may or may not love us. What's up to us is to be the most lovable person, to be affectionate, to be there for them. Whether they decide to stick with us or not in our control.
Marcus Aurelius, one of the more interesting things about the stuff that he writes is how relevant it is today.
That it's just the human condition for us to have troubles and worries and anxieties and problems. Don't torture yourself by worrying about things that aren't in your control. Leave that in the hands of God. Leave that in the hands of nature.
At its core, Stoicism is about focusing on what we can control and accepting what we can't. It's about finding the opportunity in every obstacle, the lesson in every setback. It's about cultivating inner strength that no external circumstance can shake. Think of the Stoics as the original life hackers. They developed practical techniques for managing emotions, overcoming adversity, and finding true meaning in life. Techniques that are as effective today as they were 2,000 years ago. But Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or denying reality. It's about seeing reality clearly, accepting it fully, and responding virtuously. It's about building an inner citadel that can withstand any storm life throws at it. As we unpack this journey into Stoic philosophy, keep an open mind. We're not just learning about an ancient school of thought, we're uncovering timeless truths about the human condition. We're discovering practical tools for building an unbreakable mind. In a world that seems increasingly out of control, Stoicism offers us a radical idea that true freedom and happiness come not from controlling external events, but from mastering our internal responses to them. Imagine standing at the edge of a precipice, staring into the abyss of your worst fears. Your heart races, your palms sweat. Now picture yourself embracing that fear, welcoming it in like an old friend. This, my friends, is the power of negative visualization, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Here's how it works. Regularly visualize losing the things you value the most. Your job, your home, your health, even your loved ones. I know it sounds terrifying, but here's the twist. This isn't about wallowing in misery, it's about fortifying yourself against life's uncertainties. By facing our fears head-on in our minds, we rob them of their power over us. We realize that even in our worst-case scenarios, we have the strength to endure. And in the process, we gain a profound appreciation for what we have right now.
If you want to do that with fear, you want to walk towards the things that you would usually walk away from.
The feeling of fear that you feel inside of your body is a biological reaction to what you are thinking in your head, not what is actually happening in reality.
Think about it. How often do we take our blessings for granted? That morning coffee, the roof over our head, the people we love. They can all disappear in an instant. Negative visualization reminds us to cherish these gifts while we still have them. But it goes deeper than gratitude. This practice reshapes our relationships with loss and change. Instead of seeing them as catastrophes, we begin to view them as natural parts of life. We become more adaptable and more resilient as a result. Imagine facing a job loss not without panic, but with calm acceptance. Picture confronting a health scare not with despair, but with determined resolve. This is the mental fortitude that negative visualization can build.
So no matter where you are in your life, there's always something for you to be grateful for. There's always something that you could lose and feel worse than you're currently feeling. So if you've got nothing at all and all you've got is your life, then at the very least you've got that. And if you lost that, you would be worse off than you are.
But here's the beautiful irony. By regularly contemplating worst-case scenarios, we often find that our current problems pale in comparison. That presentation you're dreading, that awkward conversation you're avoiding, suddenly they don't seem so daunting. As we practice this technique, we're not just playing mind games, we're reconfiguring our brains, creating new neural pathways of resilience. We're building an inner fortress that can withstand any storm.
Visualizing the impending doom that could possibly be coming around with your business or your life or all of your relationships, everything that's happening to you, is it actually gives you more sense of control.
The Stoics understood a profound truth, that true peace doesn't come from avoiding life's challenges, but from knowing we can face them head on. Negative visualization is about being pessimistic. It's about being prepared, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. In the chaotic whirlwind of life, there's a simple yet profound concept that can anchor us: the dichotomy of control. It's a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It might just be the key to unlocking an unbreakable mind. Picture this: 2 circles. In one circle, everything that you can control. In the other, everything you can't. Sounds simple, right? But this mental model has the power to revolutionize how we approach life's challenges. Let's break it down. What can we control? Our thoughts, our actions, our responses to events. That's it. Everything else, other people's opinions, the weather, the stock market, global events, that's all in the can't control circle. Now here's where it gets interesting. How much of our stress, our anxiety, our depression comes from trying to control the uncontrollables? We agonize over what others think of us. We worry about future events that may never happen. We try to bend the universe to our will. The Stoics would say this is a recipe for misery. Why? because we're expending precious mental energy on things we simply can't influence. We're setting ourselves up for constant frustration and disappointment. But what if we shifted our focus entirely to what we can control? What if we poured all of our energy into our thoughts, actions, and responses? This is where true power lies. Imagine facing a job loss. We can't control the company's decision, but we can control our response. We can instead choose to view it as an opportunity for growth, a chance to pursue a passion we've been neglecting, or consider a relationship conflict. We can't control the other person's behavior, but we can control our own. We can choose to respond with empathy, to listen actively, and to communicate clearly. This shift in focus is liberating. Suddenly, we're no longer at the mercy of external events. We're no longer victims of circumstance. We become active participants in our own lives and the architects of our own happiness. But let's be clear, this isn't about passivity or resignation. It's about directing our energy where it can have the most impact. It's about reclaiming our power from the chaos of the external world. As we practice this principle, we're reconfiguring our brains. We're creating new neural pathways that lead not to anxiety and despair, but to calm acceptance and purposeful action. We're building an inner fortress that no external circumstance can breach. The dichotomy of control isn't just a philosophical concept, it's a practical tool for navigating life's ups and downs. It's a key to unlocking an untouchable mindset. Amor fati, love of fate. 3 simple words that encapsulate one of the world's most powerful concepts in Stoic philosophy. It's not just an idea, it's a radical shift in perspective that can transform how we view every single moment of our lives.
If you're born short, you're happy that you're short. If you're tall, you're happy that you're born tall. You accept things as they are, you make the most of it. This is what the idea of amor fati is.
Imagine embracing everything that happens to you. The good, the bad, the ugly, not just with acceptance, but with love. Sounds impossible, right? But this is exactly what the Stoics proposed. And it's not just about being a passive victim of circumstance, it's about becoming an active participant in your own destiny. Think about it. How much of our suffering comes from resisting what is? We fight against reality, wishing things were different, cursing our bad luck. But what if instead of pushing against the current of life, we learn to flow with it? Amor fati isn't about resignation or giving up. It's about finding the opportunity in every situation, no matter how dire. It's about asking, how can I use this? How can I grow from this? It's about transforming obstacles into opportunities. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who practiced this principle. Amidst wars, plagues, and personal tragedies, he wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness of everything that is thrown into it." This is amor fati in action. Or think of modern examples, Paralympians who turn devastating injuries into incredible athletic achievements. Entrepreneurs who use failures as stepping stones to success. They're not just accepting their fate, they're embracing it, using it as fuel for growth. But amor fati goes beyond just making the best of bad situations. It's about finding joy in the journey itself, regardless of the destination. It's about seeing the beauty in the struggle, the lessons in the pain, and the growth amidst the challenges. Imagine facing a difficult project at work, not with dread, but with excitement for the skills you'll develop. Picture confronting a health challenge not with fear, but with curiosity about what you'll learn about yourself in the process. Amor fati isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It's about embracing life in its entirety, with all of its ups and downs. It's about saying yes to life in all of its messy, beautiful complexity. Memento mori. remember you must die. These words might seem morbid, but for the Stoics, this reminder of our mortality isn't about cultivating fear or despair. It was about igniting a fierce appreciation for life and fueling a laser-like focus on what truly matters.
And that's rough, but there's some useful things in it. It keeps you awake and it keeps you focused if you're careful. But it also does indicate to you, if you think about it, the necessity of having a meaning in your life.
To be alive, the odds against you being this world the way it is, are astronomical. So confronting your mortality makes you aware of how marvelous and wonderful and incredible it is to actually be alive.
Bad news is you're going to die. The good news is, now that I've reminded you of this fact, now that we're here talking about this uncomfortable truth, you have a choice, right? How will you live? How will you respond? Who will you be, knowing that death is an eventual reality?
Picture this. You wake up each morning, fully aware that it could be your last. How would that change your day? What trivial worries would fall away? What meaningful actions would you prioritize? The clock ticks. Each second, a precious gift. The clock ticks again. Each moment, an opportunity to live fully, to love deeply, to make a difference. This is about being present. It's about cutting through the noise of daily life and focusing on what's truly important. When we embrace our mortality, we stop postponing our dreams, our growth, our impact on the world. Think about it. How many of us live as if we have all of the time in the world? We put off that passion project, delay that difficult conversation, neglect our health, all under the illusion that there's always tomorrow. But memento mori jolts us awake. It reminds us that our time is finite, that each day is a gift, not a guarantee. And in doing so, it frees us from petty anxieties and trivial concerns that often dominate our thoughts. Imagine facing a challenge at work. In the grand scheme of your life, of all human existence, how much does it truly matter? Memento mori puts things into perspective. It helps us distinguish between what's truly important versus what we have magnified in our own minds. But this principle goes beyond just prioritizing. It's about living authentically, courageously. When we're acutely aware of our mortality, we're less likely to live by other people's expectations. We're more likely to speak to our truth, to pursue our passions, to love without reservation. And here's the paradox. By keeping death in mind, we learn to truly live.
It's understanding that death is something I will not experience, because experience is the essence of life. If I'm experiencing something, I'm alive. Death is the end of experience.
We stop merely existing and start flourishing. We find depth of meaning and purpose that no fleeting pleasure or material success can match. Breathe in, breathe out. Each breath is a gift. It's precious. This is the perspective memento mori offers us. As we practice this principle, we're not just philosophizing. We're reconfiguring our brains to focus on what truly matters. We're building an unbreakable mind that finds peace not in denying death, but in fully embracing the life that we have. In the crucible of life's challenges, forged by ancient wisdom and tempered by modern understanding, we find the blueprint for an unbreakable mind. It's not about becoming invincible or immune to pain. It's about developing the resilience to bend without breaking, to grow stronger through adversity. Imagine a mind so robust it doesn't just survive life's storms, it thrives in them. This isn't a fantasy. It's the potential within each of us, waiting to be unlocked. But let's be clear. Building an unbreakable mind isn't a one-time event. It's a lifelong journey, a daily practice. It requires courage to face our fears, discipline to focus on what we can control, wisdom to find opportunity in adversity, and humility to remember our mortality. In a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable, the unbreakable mind is our anchor. It's not about controlling the external events, but about mastering our internal responses. It's about finding freedom not in perfect circumstances, but in our ability to choose our perspective. This is the legacy of the Stoics, a gift from the past that's more relevant than ever in our modern world. It's a path to not just surviving, but thriving, no matter what life throws our way. Let's reflect on the path we traveled. We've explored the depths of our modern mental health crisis, uncovering the hidden forces driving depression rates to unprecedented heights. We've seen how our hyper-connected world, ironically, actually leaves us feeling more isolated and inadequate than ever before. Social media, once held as a tool for connection, has become a double-edged sword. It's a world where we constantly compare our reality to everyone else's highlights, fueling more feelings of inadequacy and anxiety. We've learned how the relentless pursuit of happiness, paradoxically, can lead us deeper into despair. But amidst this seemingly bleak landscape, we've discovered a beacon of hope, an ancient philosophy that offers timeless wisdom for our modern struggles. Stoicism, born in the tumultuous times of ancient Greece, provides us with practical tools to navigate the chaos of our digital age. We've explored powerful Stoic techniques, negative visualization, teaching us to appreciate what we have by imagining its loss, the dichotomy of control, focusing our energy on what we can influence and finding peace in accepting what we can't. Amor fati, embracing all of life's experiences, good and bad, as opportunities for growth, and memento mori, using our morality as a catalyst to live more fully and authentically. Stoicism provides a powerful antidote to the very factors driving our depression epidemic. Where social media breeds comparison and discontent, Stoic practices cultivate gratitude and self-acceptance. Where the pursuit of happiness leaves us feeling inadequate, Stoicism teaches us to find meaning in all of life's experiences. Where our modern comforts have left us ill-equipped to handle adversity, Stoic principles build mental fortitude and emotional fortitude. As you step forward from this video, carry these Stoic principles with you. Let them be your compass in navigating life's ups and downs. In a world that often seems designed to break us down, Stoicism offers us the tools to build ourselves up, to forge minds that are truly unbreakable. The ancient Stoics have given us a gift, a philosophy of life that's as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. Now it's up to us to unwrap this gift, to apply these timeless principles to our modern lives. In doing so, we might just find the key to not only combating depression, but to living lives of true fulfillment and purpose. Based on your learnings through this video, the question becomes, does the premise of depression need to control you, or can you instead destroy it forever? Whatever conclusion you come to, feel empowered with the knowledge that you have the tools and the wisdom to embrace anything life has to throw at you with courage and resilience. If this video resonated with you and you're ready to take the next step in destroying depression forever, I have something special for you. Introducing Unbreakable 24/7, your personal support system to build an unstoppable mind. For less than $1 a day, you'll get direct access to me and my team anytime you need support. You'll get bi-weekly insights rooted in ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience. And you'll get a proven system to rewire your brain so that you can live life on your own terms. Don't let another day slip by feeling trapped. Click the link in the description box below to learn more about Unbreakable 24/7, and I'll see you on the other side.